Ooh, got me in a side camera there. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Ooh, let me get situated. I hope everybody's having a lovely, lovely day. Get the chat on it. Hi, Daniela. Hi, Rocky. All right, chat's already working. I don't have to do anything. Hello, Elizabeth. Come on in, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. We weren't here last week. We're back in business. Hello, Melissa. Who else we got in here? Say hello, everyone. Hi, Sal. Hi, Lilith. Oh, Lilith, I feel like it's been a minute. Hi, Debbie. Oh, my goodness. Loving it. Hi, Kathy. Okay. Hi, Jane. Oh, my goodness, so many people. Hi, Jessica. Lilith, listen, I get it. Life happens. So much life has happened. We'll have a derail moment while people start to sign on a bit. Hi, Tanisha, welcome back. Or I shouldn't say welcome back. I did a different training on Monday and Tanisha was there, so welcome. Um, so my daughter is in the thick of it right now with plays. Hi, Katrina. Is Katrina? I hope I didn't. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm so sorry. But hello. Um, my instinct wants to say Katrina, but it's not. It's Katrina, I think. Correct. Okay. See, there we go. So my daughter is in the thick of, well, she's in a place, she's in Rock of Ages right now. Hi, Nicole. But we are in Tech Week. And if any of you have children or in theater yourself, Tech Week is a living nightmare for everyone involved. It is long hours, it's running back and forth. She doesn't drive yet, whatever. You see, most of you know, of tech, it's a nightmare. And when they don't drive, I am driving them directly from school. They're there till 11 o'clock at night. And newsflash, that's not for mama. I am not a late person anymore. But I literally just kind of like rolled up to her play place, dropped her out the side door, rolled back. I'm like, I gotta go. I have people to meet, which is all of you. So, hello, everyone. If this is your first time here, I've been there now with your kiddos in it too. Listen, plays a lot. I have two kids in plays. It's a lot. That's okay. I love it. But if this is your first time here, hi Candace, it's your first time. Welcome. My name is Laura DeVeiga. I am the Director of Agency Development oh my goodness, Director of Agency Development at World Via Travel Network. These sessions are called Elevate Your Travel Agency. They are not just for my network, they are open to anybody in the travel industry. And this was, as I saw, I've been in the industry for going on a year of 14 years, and I used to work on the supplier side. I had my own agency for a while, and something that was consistent when I would meet so many individuals like all of you out there was there is just a lack of personal and professional development that is focused directly at travel advisors. So I, once a week, if I'm in town, of course, I wasn't last week, once a week, come on and I teach different topics. We get into it. We go through the different things. We talk about what can help you, what can make your business better, how all the stuff. Tammy, this is your first month you joined a couple weeks, so welcome. I'm so happy to have new members on here. So again, this is really truly to grow yourself, personal or professional, be a better version of yourself, have a better agency, have some tips and tricks. I try to focus it whether you are new or experienced. So don't stress if you're experienced and you think you know it already. Or if you're brand new and you're like, I don't know a darn thing. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. I apologize if you're my dog barking. It's always chaos here if you're first time here. You just learn to embrace it at some point. I apologize. But tonight, guys, we are a couple things first. Like I'm out of order here. One, first and foremost. Thank you all, of course, always coming back. We were not here last week because I was traveling out in the world. I was at Cruise 360 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If I saw any of you there, hello again. If not, I hope I'll see you at the next event. I'm not going anywhere now until ASTA Travel Advisor Conference, which is in Salt Lake City, Utah. And that is towards the end of May, May 20th to the 22nd, I believe, doing the path, which is I've lost the term right now. It's for host agencies that connects into it as well. But I do those. So that's the last week of May. So that's the 1 week I'm not doing it this month, but then I am here the rest of it. I just popped a link into the chat. If it's your first time here, that is a link to the Facebook group. What's lovely about the Facebook group is a few things. One, all the past episodes are on there. So if this is your first time joining, you can go catch up, watch a lot of my crazy. Another thing, you'll find out what's coming up in the classes. We always post the next one coming. Sometimes we chat around in there. If I'm traveling, I'll try to post some photos in there. It's just a good space for you to ask questions, have a group of people that you can bounce ideas off if you wanted to, but first and foremost, just have access to the content if you needed to watch it, or if you couldn't stay on the whole time, it's always there for you as well. All right. So, and one last thing before I get started. If it's your first time, please use the chat. I prefer it. I keep it open the whole time. I interact the whole time. It makes it all a little bit more enjoyable for everybody because I can hear what your thoughts are on things, what's working for you, what's not working for you, how I can help. And when we work through it together. So feel free to chat away. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This week's topic, we are getting into loyalty programs. So there's been and if you've been here the last few weeks, there's kind of been a transgression. So like this whole, supposed to be the whole month of March. It transitioned from month into right into the end of April here. Technically, this is, I know, beginning of May, but oh, and happy May. Happy Travel Advisor Month. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna hear the date after next week. So happy Travel Advisor Day as well, a little in advance. Happy Tourism Day is on the 7th as well, National Tourism Day. Happy all the things to all that is what we are and what we are so lucky to get to experience every day, which is being this incredible industry. So, but we're talking loyalty programs. And the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of leading up to this, like personalizing your trips, right? To keep your clients. It's all about client retention, right? We're delivering good service, how to deal with clients that are difficult and frustrating. And now we're getting into how to keep them coming back, right? Because that is the way to build your business properly. I wrote this, if you saw me writing when I came on, I had a note that I didn't put into the presentation, but I wanted to share with everyone. And I'll share it now before I put the presentation up. But it is a statistic that if you increase your client, so increasing your client retention by 5% actually boosts profits 25 to 95%. Let that sink in for a second. So just by getting the clients you already have to come back and be your little cheerleaders of sorts, you will increase your sales by 25 to 95%. Those are good odds. Quite, dare I say, the best odds, because you're keeping the client you already have and you're getting more. It all works out in my favor. So client loyalty and client retention is incredibly important for a lot of things. I've talked about the cheerleader part of it a bit, right? Like you want your little evangelists. You want those people that are going to say the things when they're at their party. And we are getting to the season. We're getting the season. We are all sitting around where somebody's cooking, not me. We're all sitting around a table and someone's talking about where they're headed next, where they want to go for their next trip, where they've been. It always comes up, right? This is when we're all social. And so this is when they start to go, oh, well, I have a guy that can book me here. I have a girl that books the best cruises for me. I have a girl that gets me the best rates on all my vacations, right? We are in that season. I've been with Worldview for a few months and just launched this week. The webinars are worth their weight in gold. Thank you, Lilith. And I'm so glad that you officially launched. That's such an exciting thing. And I appreciate that. Listen, we try to train the heck out of people at Worldvia, or at least offer it to you if it's there. So that's why I'm so thankful for these Thursday nights, because I can open this up to everybody. This is Worldvia and beyond. So if you have friends that are in the travel industry, they're just starting out, they need to find their people, they need to find people to help them, send them here. This is what it's for. Oh, Susanna, I'm so glad to know about the Facebook group. I won't be able to listen the whole time. Yes, please, Facebook group. It'll all be in there. It'll be recorded. You can hop back in where you were and catch back up with us. So listen, that's what it's for. But let's get into it, right? I'm going to pop the presentation up now. So sorry. What I was starting to say was this is the season, right? Where people are going to start talking about you. They're their little cheerleaders. They're going to say, oh, Rocky, he books the best trips to here. Or, oh, Lilith books the best trips. Like this is that time. And you want your name coming out of their mouths, right? And you want to make sure that you're putting out the right experience. We talked about that in the weeks past, in order for them to do so. But what we're going to do to get them to come back, because listen, we could, in a perfect world, people would just naturally come back to you and not go to someone else and not inquire about somebody else, right? That would be the perfect scenario. You've built that allegiance in that first moment just by existing. They love you so much, they're coming back. But the reality is, you have to put in the effort to get people to bring back. There are a lot of advisors out there, and we are very lucky that this industry is resilient and we're going to be around for a long time. But what's going to make you stand out? What's going to make you make people come back to you? Probably what we talked about last class, right? Last conversation about personalizing your trips, making sure that they're catered to the client you're booking. That's going to help. But also, a loyalty program is a huge thing. It helps a ton. So here, let me pop this presentation up. And I'm also going to pop it up so that you can see me while I talk, because you can tell already if you're new here, I'm very animated when I talk, but that's okay. That's how we get through it, right? There we go. I hope you can see it. All right. Turn clients into loyal repeat clients. This picture cracks me up. I don't know where they are. It doesn't seem like they're traveling. If you're new here, I do use this a lot of like AI imagery for this because it saves me a lot of time. And sometimes photos that come up, I just enjoy. And I think like they look like they're having a good time. I don't, but what we're getting into is turning clients into loyal repeat travelers. We're going to bring them back to you. What can you do to build a loyalty program? What does that loyalty program look like? What can you offer? Some of the different things. So let's get into it. Come on now. So why does loyalty matter? Also, if any of you are on here, again, this is a moment of truth. I use a system that helps me create my presentations because it helps me do it quickly and efficiently. I talk about automation with you guys all the time. But it created an agency, and it's Wanderlust Travel. And if we have any Wanderlust people, is any careers on vacation folks in here? I didn't do that intentionally, but I thought it was so cute, I kept it. So I'm just leaning into it. So not stealing anything. It's all love. I just think it's a really cute little agency that they created. So anywho, why loyalty matters. Is it possible to make the slides bigger? Oh, Claudia, you're in the COB. Trevorlyn, unfortunately, I don't think so. But what I can do is if you send me an email, I'll put my email address at the end and I can send you the presentation. And I'm going to talk through it all too. Because it's that's as big as it gets, unfortunately, on my screen. But I can send you my thing at the end and I can send it over to you so you don't have to take those notes. Well, you're considering COB, Susanna. Well, it's a very lovely organization they have there, and we are partners with them, and we love all of our COV members. So I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, cool, Trevor. And you're finishing up on COV. Oh, this is such a fun little spot. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into it. Why does loyalty matter? One, predictable income. I talk about preventative maintenance consistently in here with all y'all, right? That is something that's something that comes up, and preventative maintenance is building your, it means also like doing things to make sure you're not going to have trouble later. And a predictable income is a way to do that. So return clients create steady revenue streams. So listen, I'm not going to talk about any marketer space, but sometimes our world is unpredictable. What's going on around us is unpredictable. But if you build good conversations and you build a good trust with your clientele, they're going to come back to you. They're going to trust you, right? So when you are not sure if you're going to be able to bring in new business, or you're in your first stages and you're just starting to get to know people and what that business is, when you get that first booking, it's so crucial to try and keep them, right? Or if you are in this for dog's years, you've been in here forever, and you're like, okay, I have a lot of business. I'm busy, but I'm losing those people that used to come to me all the time. That's pretty much a self-evaluation moment for you. Like, what can I do to bring these back? Because that is predictable income. And probably why you're noticing they're going is because that income that was there is no longer there, right? So it's so nice to be able to like look at your book of business in the beginning of every year and know, oh, Susie and Ted are coming back. John and Amy are coming back. They're going to go here. They're going to do this. This group's going to come back, right? That's what's really lovely about having a loyal clientele base. Also, I just need to point out, this is absolutely not anything inappropriate. The glass is deceiving. It is actually just my little half of scoop of an energy drink or a pre-workout that I drink to get me through this call, as we all know. It is in a cute little cup. Anyways, so free marketing. Now, this is a phrase I have teased week over week over week. It comes from a business that I used to work for many years ago, but referrals. So there's a concept called four walls marketing. And there was a company called Bar Louie, which they're not as popular anymore, but for many years they were incredibly popular. And it was a restaurant that they completely sold themselves on four walls marketing. And four walls marketing is you do not spend a dime to market yourself. All of your marketing and everyone coming back to you comes from the people within the four walls of your business, talking about your business to other people and bringing them back in. Okay. And how they would do this was in different manners. They would give, say, coupons to the people that came in, and then that would bring people back. And we'll talk about some of those options in a moment. But four walls marketing is free, respectfully. And it would, when you have free marketing, it reduces all your acquisition costs. So you, as you're building your business, or if your business is grown and you're trying to keep it in line, should always be observing your acquisition costs. If you don't know what I mean by your acquisition costs, it's the amount of money you're putting into your leads to get them to come in, to come back, right? So if you're spending hundreds of dollars on marketing online and you're spending so much money for, say, an ad campaign or your website or whatever it may be, all of that is was that oof about Rocky? But all of that should be giving you an idea of what your cost per customer is or your cost per lead. You've spent a lot of money. I get it. And listen, sometimes you have to spend money to make money. I want to be clear. Sometimes you can't spend money to make money. I want to be clear about that. So there are ways around this. Now, there's going to be times where you're going to spend it, but when you don't have to, try to lean in. So having a loyalty program, having those people coming back, that's money you do not have to spend to market, right? There's going to be things like events you're going to want to do. There's going to be places you want to boost social posts. There's going to be a lot of places where you want to spend that money. If you don't have to spend it, referrals are free marketing. Down, business stability. It's less hustle, it's more consistency. So when you already have a lead, I'm so glad you have done too, Susanna. I could catch on what rewatch. If you have consistent business, you don't have to reach out to as many people and be hustling for leads. You know what they're booking, you know what they like. It's an easy turnaround. So again, it just creates a lot of stability for you, a lot less stress, because it takes out the decision fatigue for a lot of things, right? You're not having to think about, oh, well, I have to do a full qualify on these clients to make sure what their likes and dislikes are. You know this. It's in your CRM. You've built all that up because we've talked about that ad nauseum, right? You're putting all those notes in, you know what kind of client they are. So this is an easy transition for you. So things to think about. Okay. So what is the loyalty loop? So it starts with, well, it can start in a couple different places, right? But I'm going to start with creating a connection, right? Build meaningful relationships. So you cannot get a loyal or a repeat client until you build a proper relationship first. So taking the extra care, thinking through, asking the extra questions, listening, being an active listener, hearing what they're saying, hearing what they're asking for, hearing what's important to them. That creates a connection. That shows you care. That is going to make them go, oh, they listened to that. He knew I didn't want this. She knew I wanted to be on the 5th floor. She knew this. Those things are incredibly important. I'm going to kind of go backwards with this, but then and go back to the reward. Deliver exceptional value. Exceed expectations on every single trip. Listen, I know you're busy. We're all busy. I'm tired. I'm here. I'm tired. But it is instinctually sometimes we would just want to go, oh, I can't give it all right now. When you are in your beginning stages or when you are seeing a lull in your business, you have to take a moment and go, am I delivering myself 100%? I don't say 110%. I know sometimes people do. Sometimes I try to avoid that for a very specific reason. It's just 100, right? Your body only has 100 to give, but are you giving that full 100? Because taking the time, doing the extra steps, doing the extra things, listening, seeing if you can get extra gifts, seeing what you could do for them, going back and seeing if a price changed and it's somewhere where you can change the price after it's booked. That's delivering exceptional value. That's exceeding expectations for these clients. You listened, you changed, you adjusted, you thought of them. The fact that you went back and maybe said, Disney's a great example, right? You can rebook Disney on the every lower price if it's available. Knowing to go back and look and call them about it. Cruise lines sometimes offer that, things like that. It's also just like if they, say they were all heart and head set on doing a very specific tour in Paris, but it's sold out. And they're really upset about it. And you go, don't worry about it. I'll see what I can do. And you set an alert. So you check in every so often, see if it opens. And all of a sudden it opens up. And then you make that phone call and you call them. They're going to be thrilled. It's like taking those little moments. They know you keep thinking about them and it's going to help. Keeping yourself top of mind. Maintain regular, valuable contact. What do I mean by that? Now, this isn't just when you booked them. This is after you've booked them. This is in between bookings. This is all the time. If they don't remember you exist, they're not going to remember to call you. Now, I'm not telling you to flood their inbox, but I am saying have a consistent email list. And if you weren't here last week, go back and listen to last week's. And we talk a lot about client segmentation. If you have segmented your clients appropriately, you know to send Tom and Amy all the cruise information. You're not sending them too much. You're not sending them every deal that comes through, but they are getting all the cruising information because you know they love cruising and you know they want to go on a cruise on their next trip. They're getting all that cruise info. So every week or so, they're getting an email from you about different cruise deals, things going on in the cruise world. So when they are thinking about their next cruise, they're going to think about you because you're top of mind. And also it's reaching out on their birthdays, anniversaries, simple things like that, just so they're not forgetting about you. And it's not because you're forgettable, right? It's because we all have a lot going on. We've already talked about this. I'm driving my child 700 times a week to play practice. I forget if I'm not constantly reminded who I should be getting things from, right? But when I get a constant reminder, who's a great example of this? Gooder sunglasses. I know this isn't travel, but it's a great example. I know I need a new pair of sunglasses. I love Gooder sunglasses because they are consistent. Talking about delivering exceptional service. I'm a runner and they are made for runners. They never slip off my face when I run in races. I know I'm getting good service. I've also had customer service issues and they have exceptional customer service. They send me an email, not too much because some send emails too much and it goes right to my spam, but just enough to remind me that today I was like, oh, I should order a new pair of Gooder sunglasses, right? It's a tangible object. I know it's not travel, but that's the idea. You don't want to overwhelm. Now, the last thing is rewarding loyalty. So recognize repeat business and referrals. Ooh, let's see what Rocky's got here. One thing I failed to do is to add my clients to my email subscriber list. Like when someone signs up for it, they sign up for it. But when someone books with me, you're not crazy, Rocky. That's consistent. And I think it's what we do is because naturally we're like, oh, they booked me, they're in. But you got them in the door. It's how you keep them in the door. I think it's pretty common what you said among a lot of advisors. They don't kick it to what I would call a broadcast list, which is like all your things. And the question is always, do you add them immediately? Because they're probably, you don't want to be like, oh, well, they're already booked. I don't want to bother them with things. But when do you add them? Because we all know people are booking their next trip when they're getting on the plane for the trip that they just booked, right? It's not just, I'm sorry, my nose is very itchy. I have to itch it really quick. It's not just when they get home or weeks after they get home. Not everybody's starting that early. But what I would say to you, and this is just an idea, you have to figure out what works for you. Maybe you set something in your automation within your CRM where you start add them into your subscriber list about a month before their trip travels, right? And then they're in that box for a little bit and then they start getting in. Or maybe it's 2 weeks after. But what I would say is it almost has to be a reminder to you to move them in, because I kind of see what you're saying about not adding them in immediately. I'm not saying you were doing that on purpose, but I can see why you wouldn't want to. but there is value in getting them in there because there are clients, right, that aren't consistent travelers. Whereas, and I'm probably in a great example of this. I don't travel every September. I travel every year. I travel a couple times a year, but I don't travel the same times all the time. So for an agent, for me, it will be hard to get a grasp on when I'm sending things. So I think it would be a good idea for, in your situation, to send it like right after or right before they travel. So that way to start getting in that loop, so to remind them of travel. That's good idea. I have a follow-up automation. That perfect. Yeah. So I would set it into automation for you. And there's different ways you could do it. It could be sending your, I know not everybody's all up on automation. I very much am, but there's other ways to do it in your CRM system where you just have it set to like so many weeks after travel, or there's different triggers you can make. But I think that's probably the best way, because like I said, I'm a great example. You can't just assume a certain time period or things for me. So as long as it's right after I've been booked, it's in my brain space to now, because you start to send me those regular emails coming through. So, okay, let's talk about ooh, that's hard to say tonight. Rewarding loyalty. Now, this is always tough. I've mentioned it offhandedly, but we're really going to talk about it now in past conversations about how and what's the way to reward loyalty and to get your clients to come back. Now, this is a moment of you having to look at your clientele, your regionality, what makes sense for you, what fiscally can work for you in the current moment. I want to be very aware there. But the prime example I use often that worked very well for me is my loyalty program was, I'm like taking this big piece of paper like it's something physical, but I had cards printed, and on them, or you could, and you don't have to print them, they could be digital now. I worked a long time ago, guys. So I was not, this is not, but not a long time ago, but I worked at a time where it was feasible. I had cards printed, and on it, I had a thank you so much for booking your trip with me. If you get, or tell your friends about my services and the great experience you had. And if they book their trip, I will give you $50 off your next booking for each one of your referrals that book with me. Now, immediately, I know everyone that's new to the business got a little tense. They went, I don't have $50 to give to them. I hear you. There's a couple ways around this. Now, what I would do is I would eat it out of my commission. I need to be honest with you. So what would happen was, if I was booking it with a supplier, I would book the whole trip, $50 of it I would put on my own personal credit card, and then it would make the whole amount, right? And you don't even notice, because once the commission kicks back, it all comes back to you. It's a wash. I can understand that can be difficult for some people, but what I want to remind you is of the reward of this. So generally, when I would do this, I would get 1 to 2 people to come from each individual that really actively used it. So let's do a hypothetical situation. You book a $5,000 trip. You're making $500 in commission, because assume there's some error on there, so it's not a fully commissionable trip, right? Let's even say, I'm just using round numbers. So 5,500 probably isn't the commission amount, but let's just say what it is. So do you recommend applying it to final payment or taking it off your planning fee? Ooh, let's talk about that in a second, Danielle. Let's do my math for a second, because I like that. So $500 you make on that first initial trip, right? So you already have that $500 in the bucket, but whatever. So they come back and they have 2 people book with you. So those are, let's change those commission amounts. Maybe you make 300 on one, and you make 400 on another. So right off the bat, you're making about $700 off that one individual, right? So then on their next trip, say they even book a trip where you only make $300, maybe it's $200. Let's be real. Sometimes that happens, right? So you're taking that 100 off. You only make $100 in that commission, but that individual made you $700. Does that make sense? So like, it's worth the reward to eat that $100 in the moment where you already just made 500 off that individual. You're going to make another 100, and you made $700 off their referral. Does that make sense? Okay. Daniela, I love your idea. So Daniela said, do you recommend applying it to the final payment or taking off the planning fee? The question at hand here is, do you charge a planning fee? If you do, I would say without a doubt the planning fee, because that's costing you nothing, right? You say that's a great idea for a different reward program. Hey, I would usually charge another planning fee, but if you bring this in, I'll take this off your planning fee so you don't have it coming in. Great idea. Now, the only other follow-up question, and then Rocky, I'll get to what you said in a second, is if your planning fee is a set fee that works. If your planning fee is a fee that you say, I just put it towards your trip, it doesn't work because they don't win anything in that. Is that, am I tracking? Because if it's, you charge a $200 planning fee and then you say, well, that $200 will go towards the cost of your trip. If you're taking it off there, they still have to pay the full cost of their trip. But if you just have a set fee and you say, okay, I'll take that $100 off, that costs you not a dime, it saves them $100, and then they still pay their trip as it is. Let me know if that makes sense. Rocky, on my welcome home email, I say, if you refer someone to me and they end up booking with me, I'll send you a $50 Amazon gift card. If the referral pays my planning fee, then I get the planning fee minus the 50. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me read it. I'll send you a $50 gift card. If the referral pays my planning fee, then that makes sense. Oh, okay, that just tracked to me. So you get it out of the planning fee. I love that. That's actually an excellent idea. So what he's saying is, if you didn't catch on to that, what it would have been the planning fee, he just takes it out of that and can. I love that. That's a great idea. Rocky, is it a digital gift card? Yes, I send them a physical one as a bit of extra love. Well, that's very kind of you. Digital gift cards are a really easy way to do that, though. Sal, I've refunded times amount or given gift card after their trip once commission has been made as another option. That also is another great option. Oh no, I'm keeping my fees, Daniela. Okay, I understand. Just wanted to be sure. So listen, some people use it as they put it into the trip. You're welcome to choose what you want as a security thing, but I think you should keep it as well. So if my planning fee is 100, I only get 50 plus. Okay, that was a great little moment there, but that is an option to do this. Now, there's other ways to reward loyalty that don't cost any money one way or another. I love the gift card idea. I love the planning fee idea, because again, that costs you nothing. But there's also, you can do, depending on the type of client is, you could say, oh, I'll get you an onboard credit because you can purchase those for many cruise lines, right? I'll get you a spa credit. And again, there's costs involved in those sometimes, and it's a little bit dicier. I have found this consistently works the best, but you don't have to do it for every booking too. Let's be real. Like if in the beginning, if you're like, hey, if it's, I'll give you $100 off for if I get 3 bookings, if I get 5 bookings, I will tell you, be more consistent. The lower that threshold is, but you can do what works best for you in your market. If you're groups, it's also going to look very different than this individual booking. So Valerie, I'm working on a referral program with a friend in which the more she sends my way, the more likely she can join me and a family. You just nailed it. So that is a whole other kind of reward. And I like that you're also doing it with people that's sending. Okay, that's cool. She's been a cheerleader and is my guinea pig for my first booking. So you just nailed another version of rewarding loyalty, right? Which I just said, groups are slightly different. So there is what some of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with, which is the paid piper rate. Now, not every cruise line does it. And it's not only just cruise lines, it's also tour operators. There's many things that will offer what they call a paid piper rate or pied piper rate. Oh my goodness, I can't say anything today. What that means is, say on group bookings, for 5 rooms, you get a 6th one free. For 7 rooms, you get an 8th one free, whatever it may be. Cabins, it's 8 cabins, you get a 9th one free, right? It's like the rates. Now, generally, it's your choice whether you want to actually offer that free rate, right? You don't have to. You can keep that money yourself. They don't know that they're going to get that or not. But what some people will do if they think you're going to get larger groups is that is how you reward. Hey, however so many rooms or cabins you bring in, your room will be complimentary. Now, that feels scary to do that sometimes, but you're not doing the work and they're bringing the people in. And it's costing you not a dime because that is going to be complimentary anyways. So things to think about. Now, also, if you charge them all the right rate, that would be your money in your pocket, but you would have to do all the work to bring all those leads in. And if you have a cheerleader, like Valerie's saying she has, have them do it for you. Pied Pipers are a really good way to build business, especially if you're an introvert yourself and you have a friend that is an extrovert and is like, I got you. I can handle this for you. Or they're part of more social groups that can bring in more of this kind of clientele. That is what you want to do. So that is another way of bringing in a loyalty program with it costing you nothing. And groups are money making machines. People like to travel in groups. Groups is the easiest way to make money. You have to be a little bit meticulous with your, how you're bringing things in, but it is a great way to make commissions. And Pied Piper is an easy way to do it with a group and have some cheerleaders doing the work for you, right? So great example. Anybody else do anything that we haven't talked about yet? There's different things too, like it could be Pied Piper could be slightly different in the sense, like if you bring in a group, say you're at a place that doesn't have a Pied Piper rate, you could say, oh, I'll pay for your upgrade. Because again, an upgrade could be a minimal cost difference for the individual, like for you, but at the same time, for them to bring in those extra rooms, it's a way that you're getting all that extra commission on those extra rooms. So it's not a big deal. Or your Pied Piper rate could just be, you don't tell them about the free room and you give them a room upgrade into the cost amount, but then you split the difference. There's some different like mathematics you can kind of pull in there, but it's a great way to do that. But if anyone else has any other ideas, I love the ideas that are tossing around so far. But rewarding, listen, at the end of the day, we were just talking about this recently. Rewarding loyalty helps. Even if, listen, I will take a survey for a $5 gift card. I hate taking surveys. I hate them. I know people need them to run their business correctly. I don't like to fill them out. You offer me a gift card, you offer me a 10% discount, which I know 10% is nothing. It's literally my taxes. I'm like, all right, I'll fill out your survey. People like to be rewarded. I am one of those people, but so are many, many others. So, all right. So, step-by-step framework. Define your ideal repeat client. Because here's the thing. Sometimes the people that want free things aren't who you want representing your business. So that is a real moment you have to take within yourself and your business sometimes. I love my family very much. I don't want some of my family members selling my business for me. That doesn't mean I don't love them. It just means there is a certain way I would like myself to be sold to the public, and I don't want them doing it. And that's my family. So you might have some clienteles, but let's be honest. Like, I can't believe it. I just said clienteles, my Atlanta. But might be some clients that you do not want being your brand image. We talked about brand identity weeks ago, right? I want you to factor that in when you're thinking about who should be representing your brand. Now, I know in the beginning you want to get everybody to come back, but if you had a difficult client, if they were driving you up a wall, and you see maybe you booked a group with them and they were all very difficult, you didn't have a great experience, maybe don't put their referral card in theirs. It's all right. It's okay. You're allowed to do that. It's your business. Make sure you keep those things in mind. And another thing we've talked about niching down a lot and like what niche you want to go into. Maybe you only offer your referral codes and your loyalty program to the type of trips you want to be booking. If you want to be river cruise only, maybe only offer it to those individuals that are booking river cruises, or individuals that expressed interest in river cruises, or individuals that, like, again, putting you down the market you want to be in, right? Because that puts you in the right space. Or you maybe say to the entirety of your clientele, hey, I'm trying to build my river cruise business. If you know somebody that wants to go on a river cruise and they book, I'll give you $100 off your next trip. And I say 100 on that one because you're going to make a heck of a lot more on a river cruise than some of the other bookings, right? So those are things to think about, kind of helping them niche you down also. Choose your rewards. It could be points, it could be tiers, it could be exclusive perks. Now, this is difficult. Building a tier program within your business can be a pain in the neck. I'm not telling you that. Exclusive perks is the easiest way to go because that is very vague, and the perks can be an Amazon gift card. It could be cash off a future booking. It could be an onboard credit. It could be a lot of different things, or you could do points. Now, I'm not saying American Airlines points. I'm saying you can create your own point system. That's a whole heck of a lot of math that I don't want to do. But people do that. They put a dollar tag on their amount of their trip. They tally points, and when they have so much, they get so much off their trip. And then you can get also points for referring other people. That seems like a living nightmare to me, but if you like math, get into it. That's for you. It's not for me. But there's different ways to go about it. The biggest thing, no matter which system you get into, make sure you track it. Make sure you automate it and track it. And that's why I said points and tiers gets a little messy. Sometimes a card system is the easiest way to go, or like an email system where you just send it out, say, hey, here's the situation, and you track it in your CRM, whether you've done it. But make sure you automate it so you know it's automatic it's going to all the people you want it to go to immediately upon their return from trip. Actually, kind of what Rocky said earlier, I would send it out on my welcome home email. So whenever you decide to send your welcome home email, whether it's 3 days after, a week after, 2 weeks after, that information's in that base of that email, so they know when they're getting ready for the next trip, or when they're talking to people, it's sitting in there. So it's when they've come home, they've processed this a little bit. I've also had, and it worked pretty well. I did this for a little bit also, but I know a lot of people that did it. They actually did it at their documentation. So they would send it in their documents, like, hey, here's your referrals for next time. So when you're chatting with people on the trip, send them back. So it's up to you. But make sure you track it, because as much as we want everyone in the world to be so endlessly kind, people are like, I sent you 5 people, and they did not. So make sure you have a tracking system in place so you know. Promote it clearly. Don't overthink this. Don't put in too many rules. Don't put in too many exceptions. Don't put in too many different dollar amounts for different things. Make this clean and simple. The cleaner it is, the easier it is for you to promote, the easier it is for you to talk about, the easier it is for people to understand. I've told you guys a handful of times about, I had an employee once that said, say it to me 3 times and say it slowly. That's how she would process information. That is exactly how you should think about when you're speaking to your clients. Say it 3 times, say it slowly. So what can you say clearly and slowly 3 times? Every future booking that they book, you get $50 off. Every future booking that they book, I send you a $50 gift card. That's easy conversation. That's digestible. It rolls off the tongue. It's not hard to talk about. Evaluate it regularly. So when you're tracking this, you're watching your acquisition costs, because factor that in, right? That's, a piece of it at times. So what is this looking like? Is this working? Especially if you're trying something new that you haven't tried before or nobody's tried before, keep a tracker on it. It could be a pen and paper tracker, but have an idea if it could just be as simple as, I sent this to 25 people, I sent this to 3 people, this is the return I got on this. ROI, return on investment. That's why you should be checking your client acquisition costs, knowing what that looks like, knowing how much you spent to bring them in, and then also in reverse, knowing how much you got back for spending it. Because that's how your return on investment is the difference. So say you spent $100 to get the cards printed and send them out, but you made $800. That's a pretty hefty return on investment. Now you'd be factoring to the different costs of the trips and what you put into it, but just keep those things in mind. So if you want me to talk a return on investment at a later date, I know I do financial framework later. We can get into that. Would you suggest using a spreadsheet to track? 100%. Yes. Because in a spreadsheet, you can put the person you gave the card to, who they've referred back to you, what their commission was when it was paid out, how much you're discounting off their next trip, the commission you've made off the trips from the individuals that have been brought in. So you can see in real time the exact difference and math it out, so you don't have to do all that math on the other end. Absolutely. Okay. Boosting referrals without feeling pushy, right? So this could be a few different ways. Listen, take this with a grain of salt. Do what feels comfortable. is always my biggest thing. I just put some different ideas in here, but I referral bonuses, like this is the third one on here, was the easiest thing for me. And what I did it with cash value, but that to me was like the easiest way to go. Whatever works best for you is what I recommend you choose. Birthday trip perks is something that people do. I know a lot of people when they do the point system do birthday perks. So they'll give them a special upgrade or amenities for celebrating different milestones. Totally fine. You can do that anytime. And that's just a way to build loyalty less than like them having to bring somebody back to do it. If you say like, oh, you book for me, you book around your birthday trip or book another, I'll make sure whatever, like get you should have a special gift in your room, whatever, you can do so. A few weeks ago, we talked about people doing like a monthly subscription fee. This is a new concept. I don't know how I feel about it yet. This is one of the things people offer out in that space. Again, choose your own adventure there, what makes the most sense, but it can be done. Referral bonuses is what we've been talking about pretty consistently for the last 20 minutes or so, right? Reward clients who bring in new travelers with spa credits, excursions, or of course cash or gift cards. VIP trip previews. This is an interesting concept. I saw this and popped it in here and I thought, okay, give loyal clients first access to new destinations and experiences. This is risky. I'm just being honest. I put it in here for conversation, but this is risky to me. Sometimes new destinations and experiences need to work the kinks out first. So I don't know that I would send all clients there, but if you have a good relationship with them and you want to send them there as like a little perk, like, oh, I can get you in early if you have any access to that. It's an opportunity. It's just a food for thought. You don't have to go with that. But early booking incentives, great priority access windows with exclusive perks for repeat clients. This works really cool with if you're a Disney booker. So like how we just released, they just released 2026 travel. So like your exclusive perk can then be like, you're going to be my first, like, I could put you on the top of the list for 2026 bookings. I could give you, early access to, I don't know, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I know, that's not, this, sometimes things are stumbling out of my mouth, but what I'm getting at is like, you can do this when this makes sense. This doesn't always make sense, but there are some cool early booking incentives that you can put into place. I'm trying to think of some other priority access windows where it's helpful to be the first. Disney's the one I think of the most, you know what I mean? Or maybe your exclusive perk or your loyalty perk is, hey, if you bring people in, I'll book all your dining for you free of charge. I'll book your fast passes ahead of time. Well, no, you can't do that anymore. Oh my God, that's old brain for me. But like dining is a huge thing you can do there. I can book your Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for you if you'd like, things like that. Okay. How loyalty sets you apart. Personal touches like birthday gifts, paid pipe rates, booking dining reservations, things like that stand out when you are fighting with price with other things. An online travel agency like the point and click sites on the internet are not going to do those things for you. They're not going to call in favors. They're not going to tell the hotel it's your birthday or your anniversary or you're celebrating somebody is cancer free, whatever it may be. They're not going to do those things. They aren't going to create memorable experiences for your clients. They're not going to go, oh, you want to do this day because by this day you're going to be tired and this day you're going to do this. Not being an order taker creates loyalty in just in the nature of it. So making sure you keep that in mind when you're building out your business and doing certain things is incredibly important. Custom recognition equals stronger relationships. So remembering client preferences and milestones to build emotional connections that last. This all comes from what we've talked about weeks ago, and I keep repeating, is just active listening, asking good qualifying questions and retaining the information they say to you. That is making a custom trip. We are gone from the times of order taking. People want custom. They want it to feel like it was built for them, even if it was picked out of a rack, so to speak, say you go on Vax and you're pointing and clicking whatever, but did you add in the excursion they asked about? What was important to them? Are you pulling that in there? That's what builds the loyalty. That's what's when they start to say, oh, that's my person. And that's when they're going to start referring people back to you. That's how you build this loyalty and a consistent experience. I have trust equals a trusted advisor. Reliable service delivery takes you from being just a seller to an indispensable travel partner. I love that phrase. The first time you have to fix an issue for a client, you have that client for life. I had a friend who I booked a trip for. I booked her trip for her and her boyfriend at the time. Later, time goes on, they're engaged, they're planning their honeymoon. They did it on their own. They booked their flights. They were going on an extensive trip. They were going to Alaska. They checked in. They had no flights. They had no flights. And I got a phone call. She's like, is there anything I can do? I said, well, I can see what I can do to help you to try and figure it out. Did not book it with me. They booked with me consistently after that. Until I wasn't an advisor anymore. They book with other advisors. But the second somebody has an issue, they're coming back to you. I had a friend that for years, she sold her timeshare like she was a travel advisor until she had a problem. And then I was her travel advisor. So making sure you're delivering good service helps with that. Now, all these individuals, I did provide good service to, but sometimes, listen, my age group, they think they can do it on their own and they're welcome to try until something goes wrong. But the other individuals I work with, because I always had a consistent offering, I was always doing my checkups, I was always checking back, I was always sending anniversary and birthday messages, I was always following up on their special requests, I was always doing the extra, I was always doing that, all that preventative maintenance led me to have a consistent book of business. I was never struggling in the sense of like, oh, trying to get people back. Once I had people, I had people. And it was because I offered the same version of myself every time I spoke with them. I was consistent in their booking process. I was consistent in their delivery of documentation. And I was consistent on if they had any issues while they were traveling. And that helped me endlessly. Disney has a concept of being on stage and off stage. And it's a great concept because listen, when I am off stage, so to speak, I'm a potato. I'm in my blankets. I'm even wearing one right now, but I'm in my blankets with my book and I'm a tired little potato. But when I am with you all and I am speaking at an event or I am, doing a webinar, I am 100% on because you deserve that consistency out of me. You deserve, you are spending your time with me on your evening. You've got places to be, you've got families, or you just want to spend that time yourself and you're spending with me. You deserve a consistent product. You deserve someone that's going to be here with you and speak to you in a way that you should be spoken to. So it's important to me to always be consistent, and you should always be consistent with your clients every single time, because that is what's going to create loyalty. That is what's going to go, oh, though she cares, she's interested. He knows, he understands, he listens. That's what's really important. Okay. This is still more of this, but ask at the right time. Okay. Of like boosting without being pushy. After a great trip, when satisfaction is high, is a great way to do this. So like, they had a great trip. Like I said, welcome home email. This is a little repetitive from before, but that's when you ask. Now, important note here. Sorry. If your clients had a customer service issue on their trip, let it breathe. It does not mean you can't send it to them, especially if you fix that issue and they ended up happier on the other end. Let that simmer for a little bit. Let them have a moment, let them decompress, let them get through it, and say, hey, if you're thinking of booking again, I'd love to offer it if you have anyone else come in. Or maybe you just don't send it to them, and that's also okay. There's many moments in your business that you're going to go, I probably can't do this. I probably shouldn't do this. And if you're saying you probably shouldn't, don't. That's okay. You as the business owner have to make the right decisions for your business. If you have a customer service issue, maybe don't send them that. Maybe let that one go. They might come back naturally, depending on how bad the issue is. Use your judgment, but make it easy, provide templates and shareable links. That's another piece of this. So by saying refer people back, right? How are they doing it? I'm a big person on process. You should have a process in place for your clients to be able to send these referrals to you. Is that a form that's filled out online? Is that the little cards I said to send? Is it whatever it may be? Make sure your process is clear and easy to understand so that they understand it and the people they're telling understand it. So even if that's just, you just have to call and mention my name, just make it clear and understood so there's never any issue. Don't make it too complicated. They'll never do it. and offer win-win incentives. Offer rewards for the refer and the new client. I have done this in the past. Now, this is a higher cost. And so if you are not at the point where you can eat costs like this, I wouldn't say to do it. But what I would do is like a sales event of sorts. I would do, if you book and the client books, you both get $50 off. You're losing a lot more money there, but when you're trying to stir interest or you're trying to create like a sales event of sorts, it's a great way to do it. Or they book, you referred them, you get $50 off your next trip, they get an onboard credit, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or they get a discount on their planning fee, whatever it may be. You can figure that out. But it's always helpful to offer both because then there's something in it for everybody. Okay. Build it, launch it, grow it. Choose 1 to 2 ideas that we talked about tonight. We didn't talk about a ton of them. There's some pretty concrete ideas, but we branched out a little bit. Start simple. Always go with the quick win first. What's the easiest one for you to implement? Announce it to your clients. This could be a sales event in of itself. Hey everyone, I'm starting a referral program. Hey everyone, I'm starting a loyalty program. Put the details out there. Let people know. Now, I know when you're picking and choosing who it goes to, that makes this a little bit more difficult, but I still dare say, share it out to the world. It's going to excite people. Oh, what do I have to do to get money off? Oh, what do I have to do? They might not book, but it brings interest to your social pages and brings people back because of the way the algorithms work, but announce it to the clients. Okay. Make sure they know. Track it and adjust. Like I said, make sure, don't assume because it worked one time, it's going to work forever. And don't assume because it worked for months that you should adjust it to make it better. Right. And celebrate successes, showcase testimonials and wins. Now, a way to do this with tact is important. But say a social post of like, hey, did you know I have a referral program? Did you know Sally had $500 off her next trip because she referred 10 new employee or new clients to me and they booked? How much do you want to save on your trip? Put a little happy picture of Sally. Again, use that lightly, but it's definitely a way that can be done. Tools and resources, what you can use to put these in place. CRM platforms, use your automation in your CRM. If you're not using it, you're crazy. Track your clients' preferences and their travel history. This is where you track whether they've sent referrals so far, or how much money they have towards their referral, whatever they may be. Email automation, maintain consistent communication. Make sure you're sending emails out constantly, segmenting it to the right clients. Make sure you're sending out emails about your referral program. Make sure you're sending emails, getting people in your broadcast list so they know about it, things like that. Use Canva, create professional promotional graphics for this. Canva has a free version. I think it's a fairly free version. I could be incorrect, but there's other free tools that you can use. Create a nice little photo that you can put with this, create a nice referral logo. Make this look clean and professional. It will be very helpful. And easy to use templates, ready to use referral requests. Use something as simple as Google Forms. It's a name, that's how they submit it. Name, email address, person that booked, whatever it may be. I'm processing this in real time, but a way if you did it as forms, could be, you could have the person that's maintaining all the money, like they're getting the discount off, submit the names of the people that they booked, so that way you could track it. If you don't have that much going on, you could track it yourself, and I recommend you should track it yourself just to have comparative, but you could always have people submit it as well. But this is it. Start simple. One idea is better than none, so take what you want. Be consistent. Regular execution builds momentum, and deliver wow moments. Exceed expectations every single time. Pick one idea, implement it this week, and see what happens. That's all. We're right out of the money today, right at 7:58. So what do we think? One, first and foremost, if you have to jump off, because I always say this will be an hour and I want to be respectful of everybody's time, you are welcome to go. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. If not, if you don't want to jump just yet, what do you think about this? What are some ideas you thought of? What works for you? Oh, thank you, Claudia. What would make more sense for you? What factors are making you hesitate to put one in place at the moment? Oh, perfect, Elizabeth. I'm so glad. Thank you, Kathy. What is there something that's happening to you in the moment that you're like, "Oh, I just can't do it yet? That's okay. What is it? Can I help you talk through it? If you have to jump, again, I'm endlessly appreciative of all your time. I know everyone has a busy life and a busy schedule, so I'm always thankful for spending this time with me. I will see you next. Oh, Melissa, you have to head out, but oh, I'm so glad you appreciate them. I'm always so happy to do it. I love it. I'm getting creative juices going. Good, Lilith. If you have to jump, please go, go, go. I get it. I'm just always so thankful I get to do this with you all on Thursday nights, and that you guys show up and you're a great audience. And if you need anything at all, feel free to email me. Um, what more advanced referral programs have you used and know that works well? And ooh, if you're looking to target more luxury clientele, are discounts the best approach? Ooh, great question. Okay, let's do this one at a time. Advanced referral programs have you used? And no, what do you mean by advanced, Candace? So are you saying like more on the sense of like getting someone a free trip? Like, are you talking about like escalated? Because again, that can be done. But that's really what the more advanced your referral program can be is all scalable from what we talked about earlier, right? So, dependent on how much money you have to play with. I always want to be mindful of saying people to put a lot of money out to bring a lot of money in, because when you're in the first stages of your building your business, not everybody has the funds to do so. So I start small with $50. Let's be clear, you can absolutely set a standard that if they bring in so many trips or so many clients, you can offer them a free trip. But I'm not sure what you mean by advanced. So let me know if you can give me a bit more details. The actual tools, not Excel. Like, oh, you're actually talking about referral programs. So actually, I don't have a recommendation here. I can pull some recommendations for you. Because I know some of our members use some different ones. I don't want to speak to something that I'm not confident in. I've used old school methods, as far as that, but I'll definitely, let me make a note of that and I will find some, and I'm gonna write your name, Candace, because I will get your email from your registration and I will pull to see what we know. Advance, and I'll do some research for you. Referral programs. Gotcha. And are you talking about, and because I think in, because I'm familiar with one where it's really like a system's built out and they can pick their rewards, right? That's like a different kind of program that you could use. I don't know if it's something like that, but I'll look into it for you. Because I do know advisors that have used something like that where they do the point system and then more tracking automation. Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, let me look into it. Well, I had one that they would use a point system and then they actually could purchase gift cards with their points. That was a whole wild adventure. But again, that depends on where you're at. Now, Trevor Lynn, so looking to target more luxury clientele, are discounts the best approach? Great question. So now it not always, right? Because you don't want to diminish the cost of a trip with a menial discount, right? I get that. I don't know that somebody that's looking for a luxury vacation is going to give a crap about a $50 discount, right? Now, then this is getting back to the scalability I was just kind of talking about. If you're looking at high-end trips, people are paying $10,000. Your dollar amount needs to be much higher for those individuals. What you're giving back to those individuals needs to be much higher. So for this one, the luxury travelers are a great example of when a paid piper idea, might not necessarily a paid piper per se, but a paid piper idea is what works best. They're going to want a free trip, not completely free, but as free as you can get it for them. And they're not going to want it. They don't care about the $100 discount. So for them, it might be, depending on how many they bring in, it's a $500 discount, $1,000 discount. If they're bringing in a group of friends, they may want to travel for free. So what I would say is, again, it depends. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and honest, you might not enjoy to hear. The luxury clientele that I had in the past were the least likely to bring referrals back to me. And they consistently booked with me, but they never really leaned into the gimmick of the referral, and that's okay. And they would tell people to book me or they wouldn't, but they were consistent bookers and you moved on. They'll occasionally talk about it, They'll, but when it worked for me, I would just up my dollar amounts for it. But I'm actually, Trevor, I'm gonna make a note and I'm gonna look into some other options for you as well because, it's a tough game with that because they're paying a higher dollar amounts. They don't care about like those smaller amounts. Luxury options. I'll find something for you for sure. Okay, this is great and gives me much to think about. I like referral discount fees idea. Yeah, listen, that's the most consistent because a referral program by nature, even separate from travel, is that it's you refer people to me, you get something for referring. Right. So it's hard to branch out from that and call it something different. I would say, kind of going back to what we were just talking about, Trevor, like the that they might be the people where it's like a rewards point system, right? And they earn so many points and then that's complimentary because of the nature of how their trips are. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. They also because they don't want to deal with the cash of it all, but a referral program by nature is that, I refer somebody to buy a new car from a place I got it, they're going to give me a discount off the next car, right? I refer somebody to a hairstylist, I'm going to get a discount off the hairstylist. That is the nature of a referral. So I'm trying to think of some other options. That's why points might be the call for those individuals, but I'll do some more digging. But yeah, listen, I was very successful with a cash discount. I didn't do gift cards because I didn't want to have to deal with purchasing them, but I commend it and I think it's a great idea. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. For me, it was easier just to track the money that came off on the other end and I put it through in my system. So that was what worked best for me. And it was everyone always gets a little nervous about that because they're like, oh, discount, but then I have to pay. But like, don't forget, you get paid on travel right after they travel. So final payment is usually pretty close to travel. So you're not going long for that payment to kick back and then it's a wash. You lost nothing. So it's just, it is, and maybe what that looks like when you're first starting that, if you didn't do it, say off your planning fees, was having a little book of commissions you have from past trips that you've built as a bank that's when you start your program. Once you have a couple $100 in there to start, say, okay, now I can put that out there and I can start it for people. Whatever makes sense, like kind of having that little space for that might be helpful. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns, sarcastic remarks, as I always say, I'll take them all. It's what I'm here for. Um, Trying to think of some things, and I'll definitely look into, like I said, Candace, I'll find some advanced referral programs for you. And Trevor, I'll look into the luxury options. Just starting out, what are your suggestions for group travel? Ooh, are you saying group travel loyalty programs? Or are you just saying group travel in general? Bookings. Okay. Well, so we're going to get into group stuff a little bit down the road, but what I would say with groups, and I don't know what situation you're coming from, Candace, right? So, it's definitely different to regionality and where you're at. Where I was successful with groups was finding a niche with groups, was knowing the groups I wanted to be booking. Right. So I wasn't just like an only groups booker. I did destination wedding groups. Okay. So that's a very specific kind of group. I also branched into a different kind of groups later in my career. And I'll be honest, that one went okay. It's tough. Niches really help. So, one, if you have an interest that you want to book these groups around, that's helpful. If you have a market of individuals that are interested, and there's a group of people that already travel currently together that you can lean into, that's a great place to start. I don't know if you want to put in there what kind of groups you want to book, but if say you want to book destination wedding groups, maybe you're teaming up with local cruises and adult only. Okay, I was gonna say destination weddings like global dress. My goodness, bridal gown locations, things like that. So cruises and adult only, all are adult only, all inclusive. So what I would say is if you have networks of people that already kind of do these kind of trips, or it could even just be networks of group, whether you're part of local, we have a local, we call it a power group, which is like professionals. It's a young professional group that gets together, whether it's your local community group of any way, shape, or form, student groups at school, or parents of students at schools. Finding a group of people is a good place to start and seeing where they're wanting to go to. What's difficult is trying to build the group out of nowhere, because if you can't, I know, because even when I was first starting, I'd be like, doesn't everybody want to go on this trip? Maybe a couple people might, but what's helpful is finding the interest first. So if you have a group of individuals that are interested in, say, going on a cruise, then I would say then they are your Pied Pipers, right? And you say, okay, you bring in 2 to 3 people. Let's make a larger group, and then once we have this large group, that's your group, and then that keeps branching out from there. Then once you have a group set in place, it's easier to kind of rebook those groups and get your name out there as you're booking the groups. But having the group to start, the group of individuals, not necessarily the location or where they're going to go, that is always a helpful place. So whether there is maybe it's, a dart league, or a softball league, or a dance group, or a yoga class, or different things, like where you're getting a groups of adults that have the expendable income to do these things. Mention it there, create the flyers there, create the space where people know that you do it. That's a great way to do that. Any other questions, thoughts, or anything? I know we're over on time, so I won't take too much of everybody else's time. But I love chatting away, and I'm here again next week. Next week, I don't know what we're getting into. I have to go look. I haven't looked at the form yet. I try to have it ahead of time, and I didn't look. So we might be getting to supplier stuff next week. That would be cool. I hope we are. I do love talking supplier stuff because that has a near and dear place to my heart, and I want to get back to that. So, yeah, but I will oh, look at all the people in the Facebook group. So excited. So I'm going to go let everybody into the Facebook group. If you have any questions, again, my email is Laura DeVeiga, or LDeVeiga at worldvia.com. It's LDEVEIGA at worldvia.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I will look into these things, Candace and Trevor Lynn, for you, and see what I can find and answers for you about those. And if not, and if there's any other questions, y'all, thank you so much again. I will see you next week. If you think of questions in the meantime, save them up for next time. We'll get into it. I so much appreciate your time. I'm so thankful for all of you showing up every week and giving me a place to do this. And I hope you have a wonderful week and happy booking. Okay. Did you hear? I think there's a goose outside. I did not anticipate that. I'm sorry. That threw me. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you again. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Trevor Lynn. I'll see you all so soon. And again, happy booking.